Hi, I'm Heather Wheeler with the CrazyCouponLady.com, and I'm here with Leslie.
Hi, I'm Leslie Miller. I look after the digital transformation at Unilever, and I'm the Chief Digital Officer, Chief Comms Officer for Nutrition. Excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm so excited to chat with you, especially about the Super Bowl. Okay, so you've been at Unilever for 16 years. Is that right?
Almost 17, I feel like. Yeah, I'm going on 17.
Incredible. So tell me, can you kind of reflect on your journey and share how it's molded your leadership style, particularly with navigating sort of the complexities of the CPG world?
Yeah. It's hard to believe it's been 17 years. And I think when I reflect, which I do often, I'm a journaler. I'm a big believer in you can't move yourself forward unless you're really evaluating your good, your less good.
Totally.
And I would go back to, and that 17 years has been all about accepting change and accepting that if you are willing to take new experiences and maybe take a job that doesn't feel super great up front, but has the promise of making you uncomfortable and pushing you to do new things and, sticking with kind of maybe something that feels uncomfortable, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've done a ton of jobs from, working on our ice cream business to our Dove business to now Hellmann's and Nora Nutrition. And all of those different experiences have had strengths and challenges, but they all show you that if you keep going and you keep pushing and you keep the open mindset, you can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
And the experiences and the opportunities come if you're willing to have that attitude. I'm a big energy. I've got my good energy Swiftie bracelet on, and I feel like when you put good energy into the world, in terms of your own perspective, but also the people around you, good things come your way. And that to me is also part of my journey. I've stayed and done things because I believe that good things keep coming, and they have.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, change certainly is the only constant.
Right.
And so really opening yourself up to that, I think so often as humans, we close off to something that feels new or unknown.
Yes.
But that open-mindedness is so important. I love that.
And it's scary, for the record. It can be super scary, and I've worked on it with my career coach of how do I just push myself a little further instead of running away? But the proof's in the pudding, because I definitely have felt the wins and the success when I push through and really embrace the change.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about sort of brand integrations and campaigns. Unilever has a history of not just being part of cultural conversations, but creating them. What's your approach to creating those connections that really resonate with consumers?
To me, it always comes down to not overthinking it and not missing out on things that are happening in the natural environment. Pop culture, TikTok, what's happening, frankly, with schools and sports. And we have a plethora of opportunities to engage our consumers in real conversations with the world that they live in already. And I'm a big believer of it's all there. It's just making sure your brand is authentically connecting in the right moments. Not every moment is right for every brand, but if you can build the tone and the conversation and the environment where your consumers start to actually expect you to be part of those conversations, it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I just can't say enough of marketing is not that complicated. It's about taking insights and helping consumers and making their lives better. And if you can do that in ways that are fun, engaging, and part of life,
yeah,
you've made a conversation even more fun.
Totally. Yeah. If you can just find the sort of compelling storytelling with those things, that's
and our brands are a big part of consumer life because they are helping a meal taste better. Having, I think of Talenti and Ben & Jerry's of, I've had a really good day at work, had a really bad day at work. There's a solution with ice cream. When I think about Dove and just confidence that comes from using Dove deodorant or showering with Dove, those are all moments that are happening in our consumers' lives anyway. Let's make them more powerful, and let's tell them that the brands that those products are coming from understand the world and pop culture around them.
Love that. Okay, so let's jump into the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I love the Hellmann's commercial. I just saw it. It seems like you can never go wrong with cats. You can never go wrong.
We're learning that.
Kate McKinnon also.
Yes.
Such a great choice. I loved, just the simple part of the cat meowing and it saying mayo.
Yes.
So brilliant. It's to your point. It was there.
Right.
It was there and you grabbed it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Meow.
And then it just keeps getting better because then the cat dating and then dumping Pete Davidson.
Right.
So genius.
There's pop culture right there.
Yes, right there. How did you land on Kate McKinnon and Pete Davidson?
Well, I cannot take full credit for that. We have an amazing team of people that work on the communication side that are truly understanding the magic of Hellman's, and really how to do comedy at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And when we think about not wanting to overcomplicate it, we want to go to the experts. And Kate and Pete are experts at comedy and comedy genius. And when you take the Mayo Cat idea, which is good without Kate, but it is gold with Kate, you get the Super Bowl commercial magic. And I think it goes back to that simplicity of, we didn't overthink it. We got great talent. Our creative team and our agency, Wonderman Thompson, did a fantastic job of producing that spot. And the nuances of the scenes where you really are living the Mayo Cat journey are just, again, commercial gold. I've made a lot of films over the year at Unilever and commercials, and this one, I am just so proud that Hellman's was able to go there. And so far, the consumer reaction has been fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that Pete Davidson was willing to poke a little bit of fun at himself. Like that actually, that made me like him a little bit more.
Right. And that was a nod. He's been in our commercials the last 2 years. So it also made sense for us because we've been with him. We know him. And to bring him back for a third year was just, we have that relationship. And the fact, you're right, he was willing to be a little silly. Yeah. Not everybody would do that.
That's right. And so Hellman's has done, this will be the fourth consecutive year.
Correct. Yeah.
And so how does that feel? Is there like additional pressure because it's your fourth, or does it feel like, oh, we've done this before, we've got it?
I think it goes back to, we are so excited to be part of this moment. It's a big part of Hellman's and our obsession. I mean, that's maybe probably a strong word, but we're just obsessed with sports. We know that football is a moment where people are consuming Hellman's, where they want to make dips and they want to make sandwiches. So we are being a part of these moments, and sports and football are those moments. So to be at the capstone moment of the NFL season with Super Bowl in year 4, it's just what we do. And I think, of course, there's a little bit of pressure of just for ourselves. Like, we want to keep pushing and keep driving even funnier spots and even more connection to our food waste message. Yes. But it's more about that internal of just, we're proud of our brand and we want to do more with it.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Okay, so I want to kind of shift, if that's okay, to like the leadership piece of things. I'm obsessed with this topic. I think it's really cool. So we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
It's a great question. And I would say, as a type A, oldest child perfectionist.
Same.
So you can relate. I think my leadership style at first was very much about taking that doing perspective. I think I got where I am for a while because I was a really good doer. I'm a Midwesterner. I like to think we have amazing work ethic. I showed up, I worked hard, I was diligent, I had details. And as I started to morph into my leadership era, to use a little T-Swift,
love that,
I realized really quickly that what got you to where you are is not going to get you to that next chapter.
Really.
And my leadership style had to evolve from that perfectionist, what could have been a very micromanaging style, to really empowerment and delegation, and actually seeing the leaders of the future as something that truly motivated me. And my style evolved because I evolved. And I think I really, every day, I welcome feedback from my team. I welcome learning from my peers, from mentors, from my boss of, hey, what did you think about how I handled that? Or could I have done better here? Because leadership should always be something that we're approaching as a personal thing, but something that will change, to our point earlier.
Yeah.
So I would say my style has evolved because I've evolved. And as I've gotten older, I would say I'm also big on, you've got to listen. And if you stop talking, the more you go and open those ears for empathetic listening, you can do leaps and bounds with your leadership style, because most people are trying to make it or figure out what they want to be or what they want to do. And if you're willing to hear that as a leader, as a boss, as a mentor, I think magic can happen.
Yeah, I love that. I think once we get the idea that we're all just figuring it out, nobody knows exactly what they're doing. No. And then it kind of opens the doors, like you said, to the listening and to the, like, being willing to hear other ideas and all of that. That's awesome. Okay, so what key lessons have you learned about navigating your team through change?
Could write a book. Well, I'd like to read a book, actually.
I'd like to read your book.
Yeah, okay, let's write a book. I have a really big mantra with my team, which is fail fast, pivot quick. And it comes down to, if we cannot accept that we are human, we make mistakes, we're busy, so we make more mistakes. Most of us are trying to be employees, parents, siblings, grandchildren, daughters, sons, friends, mentors, all of the above. That's a really hard world. And so when we come to work, it's sometimes a place that it's comforting, and other times it's maybe daunting because we've got other stuff on our mind, which means that we may make mistakes or we may not be our best. So if we have that perspective of it's okay to make mistakes as long as we're honest about them, we're transparent about what those mistakes mean, and we pivot quickly to an alternative, a solution, ending. I love the idea of no, just no, end the project.
Yeah.
And I think in corporate America, sometimes we get bogged down by, well, we have to keep it going. We have to keep it going. No, some projects need to end, and we're better off if we end them.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge believer in transparency to make mistakes and the culture of that. And by the way, that culture has to start at the top. If your boss does not own mistakes, you're not going to own mistakes. And so I try to own, oops, guys, sorry, I probably should have sent that email sooner, or I should have in that meeting with my boss presented that topic differently. Let's talk about it. I'm a big fan of it. Let's talk about it. Like, the more we talk and share, the better we will be as a team and as a culture. So I'm all about fail fast, pivot quick. And if you ask my team and like polled the audience, I'd say a good half of them would be like, Leslie's thing is fail fast, pivot quick.
I love that.
I'm going to brand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the intersection of food, social media, and sports.
Yes.
It's the most fascinating. And to your point earlier, like you said Unilever was obsessed with sports and all of that. And I've learned here at Brand Innovators, like, it really is the place that we all come together. There's not many times in a 12-month period that Americans are all watching the same thing. It's really cool. So from your perspective, what are the key trends at this intersection that are shaping the future of consumer engagement?
I think the trend is truly kind of where you were going around. It's just authentic. It's real. We are actually finding that food is one of the most common connectors in the world. And then sports, while it has rivalry, it's not necessarily contentious. Yeah. So you've got this intersection of sort of a happy, very, very connected source of in food and eating and cooking and celebrating again when your Packers win the Super Bowl next year. And then sports being moments of joy and passion. And those two things together is the trend. Because if you can be a brand that joins that conversation and helps the celebration, helps the rivalry, you've done something right with how your brand can make a bigger mission.
I love that. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting.
Thank you. It was great.